What's going on, YouTube? And welcome back to Fireside Rangers. I'm your host, Eric Wilson. Once again, joined by my new co-host, Collin Alcaves. Tony's not gone, guys. All you long-term fans, don't worry about that. He's still on vacation, but you guys really liked Collin, so we're bringing him back for another one. Hopefully, sometime next week, we'll get all three of us in an episode, and we'll see how that goes. But for now, me and Collin are here to talk about this upcoming season for the New York Rangers. And there's the postseason; it's a long way away, but in order to get there are definitely certain things that need to be done. Training camp's coming up in the next couple of weeks, which will lead right into preseason and then right into opening night. And the Rangers will begin their quest for the Stanley Cup once again. And, as we know, last year's playoffs didn't go so well. Looking for a little redemption there, the Rangers are. But like I said, first things first, you got to get to the postseason first in order to make that run at the Stanley Cup. So today we're going to be covering a couple of things that definitely need to happen throughout the regular season in order for the Rangers to make it back to the 2023-24 playoffs. But before we really get into it, Collin, how are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm ecstatic to be back. I'm even more ecstatic that we're going to get to watch some New York Rangers hockey this month. The Rangers do play in the Garden this month, and that just gives me chills.
Yeah, I know this offseason has felt like forever. Definitely the longest one in my time as a Rangers fan. But the wait's almost over. And we're just gonna get right into things. When we're looking at just the Rangers roster overall, you have your star players who are gonna do really good. Panarin, he's gonna score 90 plus points this season, no matter what. Kreider, he's good for at least 30, maybe 40 goals. Zibanejad's gonna keep putting up points. But there are three players really in my head that if the Rangers are going to elevate their game and really make a strong push for like a strong divisional spot to head into the playoffs for, I'm looking at the kids right now. Capo Caco, Filipino, Alexi Lafreniere played together on the kid line throughout the last two seasons around then. And they all played extremely well. Hedl, in my opinion, definitely the strongest of the bunch. Lafreniere, the weakest. But overall, they're all solid players. And it's looking where it's at the point of their careers where that line is going to be broken up. There's not going to be any more kid line. They're going to become full adult NHL players. Capo Caco currently slotted to play up on the first line with Kreider and Zibanejad. Hedl still down there on that third line center, but who knows? Maybe he'll get some time as the 2C, switching places with Trocheck. And Lafreniere looks like he's still kind of just trapped down there on the third line unless anything crazy happens. But in our opinion, if the Rangers are really going to have a strong regular season, these three kids need to really just go from decent, like all right kids ready to break out, to having career years, just doubling points. So, Collin, what are your thoughts on the kids? How do you see them performing this season?
I'd like to think they're going to take that next big step. With guys like Tarasenko and Kane leaving big holes on this team. We got guys like Blake Wheeler, but it's time for these kids to take the next step. We saw it a little bit from Filipino last year. I mean, he put up 22 goals, 23 assists for 45 points in 74 games, nearly doubling his points total from the year prior, coming off of a strong performance. Kako looked a lot stronger with the puck, and when he plays on that first line, their metrics in their own zone are great, and their goals for are even better. Unfortunately, some bad puck luck has led to his points not really taking that next leap yet. And Lafreniere has the potential; he just hasn't been able to put it all together yet. But I'm hoping with the new coach in Laviolette, he'll be able to unlock some of those new moves from the kids, and hopefully they'll be able to contribute like we all want them to.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at these three names, just analyzing them, like Capo Caco, like you said, puck luck. He's looked really strong with the puck. It's just he has poor luck. Really, is all you can really put it as. Is why he hasn't increased those points. And 40 points isn't bad whatsoever. I could easily see him on the first line with Kreider and Zibanejad reaching maybe 60 points this upcoming season, which would be incredible from him right there. Filipino, same thing. He's coming off of a breakout campaign, went from a 23-point career high to 45, like you mentioned, almost doubling right there by just like 1 point shy. So he could even see an even bigger increase. But I think the biggest question mark right now of the three kids is Lafreniere. Just recently signed to a 2-year extension. He's also coming off of a career high in points at 39. But as someone who went first overall in 2020, you kind of expect him to have a little more. So just on his current situation where he hasn't fully broken out yet, he hasn't really had the chance to break out, being buried in the bottom six. It's do you see Lafreniere finding a way to just boost those numbers in the bottom six, or do you think Laviolette will find a way to maybe slot him in the top six?
I'm hoping there's a way we can get him into the top six. I look at a guy like Lafreniere, and I think we've become spoiled as fans. We've seen guys like Austin Matthews come into the league, score 4 goals in their first game, and obviously Connor McDavid, and even, the likes of soon to be Bedard. You've seen these guys come in and they're most likely going to make instant impacts, but we also forget about the guys like Nathan McKinnon, or I'm not going to say Jonathan Huberdeau because he wasn't first overall, but like guys who took a little bit longer to get going. I'm not fully sold on him being, I know a lot of people in the New York fan base are saying he's a bust. I think that there's plenty of time for him to continue to grow. And if he's willing to, if he can switch to the right wing as opposed to the left, because we're clogged on the left side, I'd be willing to slot him in on that second line and put Wheeler down on the third potentially.
I mean, that makes perfect sense. I that's one thing that me and Tony have rarely talked about this is on the channel is just our Rangers fans are like a little too spoiled, like complaining that someone hasn't fully broken out in 3 seasons. That's a great way to put it. And it makes a lot of sense. But we definitely agree that if the Rangers are going to succeed and make the postseason this year, the kids are definitely going to have to step up, whether it takes a little bit of time or just right away continuing to break out. Kakko, Hedel, Lafreniere definitely have to up their games. But moving into the second key to making the postseason in 2023, 2024, I think Igor Shesterkin is going to face a lot of pressure right now. Just last season, he still played phenomenally, 58 starts, had a record of 37, 13, and 8, a 2.48 goals against average, and a .916 save percentage. Now that right there, just those numbers are good for like easily like top 5, top 10 goaltender in the entire world, really. And that was a down year for Shesterkin. Just looking at his career numbers, just like throughout the last playoffs, 7 games we lost to the Devils, he had a 1.96 goals against and a .931 save percentage. You look at those numbers and you would just immediately assume the Rangers swept that series, but we lost in 7. And the problem there becomes not from Shesterkin, but from the team in front of him. The defense played poorly. The offense was not scoring goals. And Shesterkin can only do so much on his own to steal games. And I think that's been like the biggest story of Shesterkin throughout his career is there are so many games where the Rangers 100% should have lost, but Shesterkin just comes in, plays great, and steals us games. And hopefully, with this like new addition to the team, that won't be that much of a problem this upcoming season. But there are definitely going to be times where Shesterkin's going to have to shine through and really steal some games for the Rangers. So I think personally, Shesterkin just going back up to his ceiling and maybe even putting up even higher career numbers might be necessary in order to like safely secure the Rangers a spot. But I'm curious to know what your thoughts are on Shesterkin and what we're really going to need to see from him.
Well, I look at a guy like Shesterkin, and he's been great. I mean, there's no denying since he's come over, he's lived up to the hype. He's even exceeded it, winning a Vezina this young in his career. I mean, I think it's he just has to maintain this level of play. But part of me has flashbacks to Hank, to watching Henrik Lundqvist steal games for the Rangers and them still not being able to get it done. I'm hoping that that's not the case with Shesterkin. I know he's a very talented goaltender, and I can't see him dropping off at any point. But the stats that you listed for that playoff series were absurd. Less than 2 goals a game, and that save percentage. I mean, these are elite numbers. Anything over a 915 really is an elite number, and he put up a 916, as we said, in a down season. 37 wins. That's nothing to look off. Like, these are good stats. And yeah, I think he would have to 100% maintain this level. And hopefully he would have to go too much better than it, and the team around him can succeed. But obviously the key to a good team is a solid goaltender. It's hard to win without one. And we're blessed to have Igor Shesterkin in between the pipes.
Of course. And, I have to agree. The Rangers are blessed, and going straight from Lundqvist straight into Igor Shesterkin. It's been a very long time since the Rangers have had bad goaltending. And unfortunately, just the team in front of them just hasn't really brought them a cup. I just remember as a kid watching Lundqvist, and he was like the superstar on the team. And everyone would always say, like, you can have a great goaltender, but you're not going to win a Stanley Cup without a successful team in front of them. And it seems like we might have a successful team now. So only time will tell to see if Shesterkin will ever get a ring, unlike Henrik Lundqvist, unfortunately. But moving on to the third and final key that we've labeled to bring the Rangers back to the postseason this upcoming season, not calling out any single players like before. We're just going to talk in general, the 5v5 even strength play. Last season, the Rangers 5v5, it wasn't that good. Like, we'll just be straight up about it, very blunt. When playing at even strength, the Rangers were a very mediocre team. We relied very heavily on special teams and power play goals to really just boost the amount of times that we scored. And yes, sure, we did make the playoffs last season, but at third divisional spot, the team like the Rangers, we should be aiming for Metro Division title or at least home ice advantage in that first round. So just Collin, I know that you have a little bit to say about the 5v5 play. I'm interested to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, I remember watching last season, most of the games, it would come down to a power play. Like if a team was playing disciplined, we were kind of out of it. Our 5-on-5 play was not good at all. A couple of stats that I have listed here. I mean, Laviolette, our new coach with the Capitals scored 173 goals at 5-on-5 last year, and they finished 25th best in the league. The Rangers scored 180 at 5-on-5 and finished 9th best in the league. Now imagine if our 5-on-5 play was better and we had those special teams units firing on all rates as they are now. I think we'd be an elite team in all facets of the game, and I think it would make it a lot harder on opposing defenses and opposing goalies to have that constant bombardment at all times.
Yeah, I mean, I think those numbers are pretty astounding. Only like a handful of goals separating the Rangers and Caps. Meanwhile, they finished 25th and we finished 9th. It just like you said, it makes you wonder what would happen if the Rangers at even strength were playing at like an elite level. I think that'd be the Rangers could have easily finished top 5 in the league right there. But I definitely agree, though, heading into this season, the Rangers can't rely too heavily on the power play. Like you said, if another team is playing disciplined, it's either going to be an extremely low scoring win where Shesterkin or the defense is going to have to clutch up, or the Rangers are just going to get blown out of the water and get shut out right there. So I don't know, just looking at the season, just overall, there's definitely a little more than what we've discussed. But we covered 3 pretty big points. The kids have to succeed. Shesterkin needs to stay great, and the 5v5 definitely needs to improve. But with the regular season coming up, I'm sure there'll be some more flaws and fixes that need to be tweaked throughout the regular season. So let us know down in the comments, what do you think? If the Rangers are going to make it back to the postseason and make a deep run at the Cup, what changes do you think you need to be made? Who's going to need to succeed? Who can maybe go on the back burner a little bit and that doesn't really need too much pressure on them? Let us know. And of course, we'll be back to provide you with more Rangers content and news as we head towards training camp, preseason, and the regular season. Make sure you like, subscribe, ring that bell so you don't miss a notification, and be sure to tune into the next one. Have a good one, and let's go Rangers.
Let's go Rangers.